welcome. I hope that you found me okay. We have switched to Fridays and that should stick. We just were having a scheduling conflict that just was causing us to have, it was making things hard. So we just switched over and hopefully we'll find all of our friends. All right, well, I am really excited to play tonight. I've got a really fun thing planned. So let me set up a little bit more. I just got to get my tablet where I can see what I'm doing. And now we can get going. Today we are going to create with the Star of Wonders, the Star of Wonder dies. And I'm going to show you several ways that you can use this die set. I think you're gonna love the die set. And we're gonna move fairly quickly through the cards just because I have 4 of them to show you. Because like I said, this is such a versatile die set, I really wanted you to get to see all of the different things you can do with it. So I'm gonna go ahead and switch the camera view onto so you can see what we're looking at. Okay, so this is the Star of Wonder die set. And, it is such a fun set. But if you look at, it shows you everything that's included. But you really don't get a super good idea of all the things you can do with it. If you look on the back, it gives you a little bit better of an idea of how you build the stars. But let's actually make a few projects so that we can really see what this die set can do. So the first card, I have already die cut everything. I've already got a lot of things kind of in place because like I said, I have 4 cards I want to show you. Let me just grab one of my grid mats so that you don't have to see the reflection. So 2 of the cards we're making tonight will be Christmas cards and 2 of them are not. So that's kind of a fun thing to start with. Let's start with one of the most simple cards. So I've got them all lined up behind me so that I can deal with all the pieces. So all of our cards will use different pieces from the set. Some of them will use several pieces, but this first one is just really simple. This first one, we're just going to use these 3. So there's some that look similar, and then there's some that are just straight lines, and we're using all the straight line ones. And this is one of the cards that is not a Christmas card. This one is just going to be kind of a fun, has a retro feel to it. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our card base.
Donna says hi.
Hi, Donna. How are you? So glad you guys are showing up. I was kind of afraid I'd be on here by myself. But we will stay consistent with this time so that everybody knows when and where to find us. And who doesn't love some crafty Friday night, right? Okay. So, first thing I did was I folded my card base. Donna's not? Oh. Donna, I'm sorry. I hope you're feeling better soon. This paper is from the Speckled Spring paper pack.
Jerry asked if it's Friday Night Shenanigans.
It is Friday Night Shenanigans for sure. But it's going to take all of you guys to help me to help participate in shenanigans. We all need to create a few shenanigans, huh? Mix things up a bit. So here are just some of the patterns. I don't have all of them anymore because I love this paper pad and I've used a few of them. But this reminded me of the 50s. I thought, oh, it kind of reminds me of those kind of funky 50s floors and kitchen countertops and stuff like that. So that is kind of where I drew my inspiration for the rest of the card. Let's just go ahead and use some tissue tape and put those together. So what have you guys been up to this week? Anything fun?
Donna says it's very hot where she's at.
Oh, Donna, that is the pits. We actually got some rain, and it's cooled down a little bit. I think we were 83 yesterday. But, I'm sure that will be short-lived. We'll enjoy it while it lasts. I started walking, which I am definitely in need of. And it was a nice night to start because there was a little breeze and it wasn't crazy hot. So I was definitely grateful. And I remembered very quickly how out of shape I am. So that hopefully will motivate me to keep going. Okay, so we just matted that on a piece of gray. And then the next thing we're going to do is I have this paper. This is kind of fun paper. I just, you know, I got this. I might have even gotten it from my dad. My dad was so cute. My dad is no longer with me, but he loved to go to thrift stores and garage sales and all of that. And that, I don't know if I've told you guys this before, but it was really funny because we lived in a little town and there was only one thrift store in that little town. And he went there pretty much every day that it was open. And so I would donate stuff to this little thrift store and my dad would come over and he'd be like, "Oh, Shannon, look what I found for you." And it would be what I donated. He knew me pretty well, at least, right? But so then I had to pay him for what he bought for me. So, you know, I got rid of it and then I had to pay for it to get it again. So it was kind of funny. We used to joke about that because he was just really cute. But anyway, this paper is kind of like a cover cardstock. So it has just a little bit of a texture and a little bit of shine to it. But it's like when you have like a portfolio for something professional or whatever, it's kind of the cover stock that they use. Sometimes they use it on the back when they put something together. Any better way to explain that, Darren?
No.
No? Okay, well, hopefully that kind of makes sense. Anyway, this you could probably find in an office supply is where I was getting with that, just because it's not your typical cardstock. It's a little bit different. And you know what? I'm all about using up my stash. So I thought it would be fun to make these into little records. And I liked that it had a little bit of texture. I liked that it had a little bit of shine. And so I thought that would make a fun little record. So then I used the circle foundation dies. I cut out the circles for the records, and then I cut out just a little bit smaller record. Label. The smaller circle, I should have said. And then just poked a hole in there with I have a punch that makes that. It used to be for, I think it was for eyelets. Remember eyelets? Nobody uses eyelets anymore. I'm sure they'll make a comeback. I have a million of them if they ever do. I'm like set for life, I think. But yeah, I rarely use an eyelet anymore. Maybe we should make a project doing that just for fun. Throwback. Okay, so we'll try to center that, which is always kind of a challenge. There, I think we got it pretty well centered. And that color's kind of similar to that color. So I was just, like I said, pulling colors from the print on the paper. So I like a good garage sale every now and then. But I have a pretty small house. It's not like teeny tiny, but it's small enough. I'm pretty particular, but I really love to do puzzles. And so, but I'm cheap. I don't want to do it because I only do the puzzles once. So I don't want to spend a whole lot on a puzzle that I'm only going to do once.
Junk journalers use eyelets all the time.
Oh, okay. I'm going to have to look those up. Might give me some inspiration, Michelle. Because yeah, I have a million eyelets. Okay, so we've got our little records. We can kind of decide. I think I like it better that way. And then we've just got these cute little pieces from our die set that just give it that 50s vibe. They just kind of bring that home. This hello is from our sweet, Simply Sweet die set. That is the die set of the month for August. So hurry and get in on that. So I think we'll do it something like that. How easy was that? That card came together pretty darn quick. So this would be a fun one if you had It could make a cute invite for like a 50s theme party, or if you just, I just think it's a fun theme anyway. I always am kind of drawn to 50s color schemes and stuff like that, and I just think it's kind of fun. So, if you have a music lover in your life. What was that?
Michelle said tags, ephemera closers.
Michelle is telling us all the ways you can use your eyelets. That's true. I do use them in tags from time to time, but I just forget I have them. Do you know what I'm saying?
Michelle and Donna, like your card?
Oh, thanks, guys. Like I said, it's super simple. You could probably take it to the next level if you wanted to add like lines in your records or whatever. You could add some highlights. And Darren is putting links up to everything. So everything that we sell on the Brutus Monroe site. Like I said, this paper, just because it's kind of a weird one, if you're looking for it, I would look at an office supply. Okay, so now I think we'll pop up our top record. I always like to get a little dimension in there. I just think it makes things cute. Makes them definitely more lively. Okay, now we just need to stick that onto our card base. Ooh, make sure you have it opened correctly. I've done that more times than I'd care to admit. And since I'm using glue, I'm being extra careful. Okay, I think we've got that on there pretty straight. So there is our first card. Now let's move on to the next one. Okay, so for this one, I want to tell you all I did to make this panel was I did it in 2 steps because I wanted you to be able to see the grooves in it really well on the camera. You can see them, but you won't have to do the second step I did. I made them a little deeper so you could see them really well. But to get that quilted look, all I did was I took, let me find it. It's in my stack. Oh, it's on the bottom, that's why. The page positioner, I've got my other die in there too, but this is the page positioner right here. And I just put it in there one way and then I put it in another way to get a crisscross to make it look kind of quilted. And then I took some Hurley ink. I took Rosy Cheeks and rubbed some ink on this paper just so that it would kind of bring out, kind of pool in different areas, not pool, but you know what I'm saying, just so it could kind of define the lines even that much more. So I'll hold that up just a little bit so you can see them. But then to the second step that I was telling you, because I wanted it to show up so much on the camera, was I actually just put my paper in my trimmer and lined up the lines because I'd already done this step. So I just lined it up, made sure that the top and the bottom lined up with the groove that the blade slides down. And then I just took my bone folder and I just went down and went over it again, just to make it easier. Oh, thanks. Okay, so now we've got this little piece that looks kind of quilted. And for this one, I kind of felt like, let's just do something kind of glam. Let's just go all out and do just kind of a glitzy, glamorous card. And so we're going to start with, let's get our card base set up. So we've got, well, we can actually probably just put it on the base itself. Let me get that folded in half. And I will always call this out because I love them so much. This is one of the pre-scored, pre-cut card bases. And if you haven't tried them, I highly recommend them. They just make everything easy. So let's get that on our, let's just use glue. I was kind of liking the glue. We'll get that on our card base. Glue is nice because then you have a couple of seconds to adjust if you need to. All right, so we will do our best to get that centered. I think we did fairly well. Close enough anyway, right? So now we're taking this beautiful piece of silver Glitterstock. Glitterstock will come, if you subscribe to the inspiration box, you get a piece of Glitterstock in a variety of colors. You get one piece every inspiration box. And there is also a pack that you can buy with a variety of Glitterstock. But Brutus Monroe Glitterstock is the best that I've ever tried. It does not shed all over your project. You don't have glitter everywhere. It just, the glitter is good and stuck on there. I love it. Well, if we're going for glam, this is a good place to start, right? We've got our good start with our sparkle. Then I'm just going to add another, we're going to layer this puppy up. Kind of sad to cover all that glitz up, but we'll have more. We got plenty of glitz to come. Okay, now I was just kind of thinking of like a Chanel bag or something. That was what kind of got me thinking about this little quilted design. And I'm going to show you a couple of things because I couldn't make every card in my brain. So I'll just show you before we adhere anything, a couple of different options you can have just with this. So the first thing I thought of was, now that you've got your little quilted design, we're going to use this one, and this one for this card. And so I've got 3 different sizes of this little piece that I've cut out of Glitterstock. So just following the little X's, you could do an all over pattern and just kind of stick it in wherever you want to with the little X's. Or you could even just kind of switch it up with a couple of different sizes. But also something I discovered, what we're going to do, we're going to actually put 2 together. All right, Donna, I hope you feel better, sweetie. Okay, so I'm going to put 2 together, and I kind of love this little glamorous flower that it makes. It just reminds me of jewelry that my grandma would have had. Just really pretty. I just really love that. And before I really looked at it, I didn't really put together that, you know, if you wanted to do it in like a red or something, it could look like a poinsettia. But I wasn't thinking poinsettia. I was just thinking flower. But as I was looking at it, I also noticed that if you take 2 of these and put them together like that, then you've also got this piece that, let me see if I have one from a different card really quick. Yeah, I've got one right here. If you put that piece on too, then it can kind of look, I mean, depending on how you put it on, you'd probably want to use a different color so you could see it. But then you can kind of make the, you know, those kind of Scandinavian looking snowflakes. So another thing you can do with it, you can have snowflakes, you can have flowers, or you can just use the pieces as just little abstract little designs. So one of just a few more things that you can do. So let's go ahead and I'll show you what I had in mind for this card. So these, again, this is from this swirly die. was all one piece that I cut in half, and we're going to turn it so that it's covering both corners. And it is from the Simply Sweet set that the Hello die was from. Another amazing die set. Oh my goodness. That set, I have reached for it so many times already. I'm just like, okay, loving that. Definitely a good staple for your crafty stash. You will get a lot of bang for your buck with that. Okay. So we've got one going that way, and it doesn't matter where it falls because we'll have flowers over here. It's gonna cover up anything weird. Has everybody recovered that went to create your own ending? And did you all finish your projects? I'm still working on mine. But that's one of the cool things is you can go back and you can watch it as many times as you want. And you can go at your own pace. That's one of my favorite things about it. One of many things. Also, if you haven't looked, Brutus Monroe has already announced 2 new events. One is coming up in November the 12th, and the other one is coming up, oh goodness, I don't remember the date, but it is a not virtual event. It is an in-person event, and it is a destination event. It's in Florida, and it's Create Your Own Ending in Florida. And then they're going to do another Create Your Own Ending virtual event. I don't think they announced the date for that yet. I could be mistaken though. Correct me if you know differently. All right, so don't glue your layers to your mat and you'll do a lot better. Okay, let's see if we've got it kind of straight. Had a little issue there for a second. So now we've got our second little flower. And now let's add a couple of little ones. All right, one more little flower, and I think we'll have all of the flowers we're going to use on this one. And then we'll just kind of put a few more little things on there maybe. And then I just stamped and embossed this little circle. This is from the Extra Sentimental sentiment set, which is a really good sentiment set, but I have to say that now we have another one that you also are going to need, because if you don't have the occasion covered for one, you'll have it covered in the other. Let me see. I thought I grabbed it, but maybe I didn't. Hang on one sec. There it is. The other one is from the Create Your Own Ending event, and it's called Occasional Greetings. And so you've got all of these different holidays and occasions. And then this one's kind of nice because it's got happy birthday on it, but then some of the other ones are a little bit less specific. So it's good to have them both. I love sentiments anyway. I like having several in my collection. Okay, so let's assemble this super quick. Now that we've got all of the little guys done, the rest should go pretty quick.
Michelle said it's June 9 to 11th. Create Your Own Magical event in Florida.
Okay, that one's the one in Florida. It's June when?
9th through the 11th.
9th through the 11th. And that was Michelle that told us?
Yes.
Thank you, Michelle. You're awesome. Okay, so let's position our little flowers. And I think for these, I might just use glue dots. I think I'm going to move this guy up so we can kind of cover the end of that stem. See? Now you can't even tell that it was
Jerry
cut.
said that it's such a cute happy birthday font.
Jerry, I love that font too. And I liked the little swirlies and I thought they kind of mirrored the other swirlies. So it just worked out good. But yeah, it's just cute and feminine and just sweet, I think. All right, my glue dot is so strong that it peeled the back off of my glitter stock.
For tomorrow, she's gonna finish her create your own ending and craft some other stuff.
Oh, that sounds fun, Candy. It's too bad we don't live closer. I'm having a crafty day tomorrow. I have a meeting in the morning, but I plan to craft the rest of the day after that.
Sharon says she doesn't get to watch the live, but she loves everything you make.
Oh, Sharon, thank you. Okay, so now we have a choice. Now we can kind of decide what do we want to add to our centers. I think we need something fancy, maybe. But they're pretty fancy already. Maybe we need to be a little more subdued. Let's see, do we like the black? The white? We've got this other pink. Oh, I kind of like the blue even. You guys have any ideas? We've got some silver beads we could use. Those are kind of pretty.
I like the black.
You like the black? Let's see if I have enough of the black. I have something else I can use for the black, but I just got to see where it is. Well, I've got these little black pearls too. But they're kind of small. I don't know that they... Ooh, I have an idea. I have an idea.
Michelle says sparkle anything.
We can do black on the little guys.
Michelle likes sparkle.
You like the sparkle? I do too, but I don't want to take anything away from the
Black.
other sparkles. Because there's so much sparkle, I think it'll get lost.
Jerry said black.
Oh, I just spilled that whole thing. This was full to the top, and now there's a huge pile of it on the end of my... Yeah, it's on the end of my glass mat. Okay, let's do black there. And then we've got this size. And then we can use those guys there. I can live with that. All right. So there is our second card. And just super easy. You saw how quick that came together. Okay, let's go on to the next one. We're now on a Christmas card. So this one, again, I did some of this ahead of time, so I hope that you will not mind too much. But I wanted to, like I said, to show you several different ways. So what I did here is I just started with my blending brush. And this yellow is just what was left in my brush. I just went for it and just did the center. And then I blended... Hello, who said that?
Denise.
Hi, Denise. Welcome. So then what I did was I just blended around the edges. I went from Clear Sky to No Diving to Midnight Snack. These are all Simon Hurley inks. So I started with this one, worked my way into this one, and then did this one around the edges. You can kind of see. And then after that was a little bit drier, I took our new stencil. This is Starry Night. And this just got released yesterday.
Die you used for the birthday card.
What was that?
Jerry asked to show the die you used for the birthday card.
For this one?
The last card.
Okay, I used two different die sets. I used this one. This is Star of Wonder, which is the one that we're using on every single card tonight. This is kind of the star of the show today. We used these ones on the last card. And then... for the little curly Q, that one is Simply Sweet. That is the die of the month this month. And it's this piece right here that we used. Okay? And the hello that we used on our first card is also from this set.
Christopher said hi.
Hi, Christopher. How are you doing? We are just having fun with the Star of Wonder die set. We've got 2 cards made so far, and we've got 2 more to go. So these are the 2 we've done so far. So the next thing I did was I just took the Starry Night stencil and I went over that with some Distress ink because the Distress ink is going to be able to be on top of all of those other inks and show up. So I used squeezed lemonade. So now let's do some assembling and do some fun things. So again, we got to have our glitz in there. We've got some gold Glitterstock. And I've got some, I think this is blue ribbon, but the cardstock is just, I don't think we have it anymore. I think it all sold out, but just a dark blue. It's not quite as dark as navy.
Christmas said he got back from picking up all the new Brutus for Halloween decorations.
Ooh, that sounds like fun. Something tells me we'll be seeing a new backdrop very soon. The Halloween season is upon us. Christopher and Michael both love Halloween so much, so it's always fun to see what they come up with. Okay, so now if you have scraps, when you're die cutting on your Glitterstock, if you keep it in the center, you can just use the leftover without anybody ever knowing if you feel guilty about using a whole sheet. But don't feel guilty, it's just paper. Keep that in mind. Okay, so now let's just mat that one more time. So if you want that blue color for your cardstock, Cosmic Skies by Spellbinders is a comparable color. Thanks, Christopher. Okay, so I used some of the foiled papers. These are, also we've got our Glitterstock. And let's build up our star. So, actually let's put this on its card base first. One less thing to have in our way. And you know what? It looks like I spilled, which again, I'm good at that. And this is the best part. Doesn't matter. We're going to use it anyway. We're going to cover that right up. Brutus Monroe now carries all of the Spellbinders cardstock. So if you need cardstock, you know where to go. Okay. So now I think we'll just start. Let's decide first kind of where we want all of our... Okay, this one we just have the one star. Sorry, I had two cards together in my brain. So we're going to build our star. And this one, this is definitely going to focus on this one star. So let's just glue this guy on. And I just kind of want it right in the center of all of that light radiating off of it. So this is our next layer, and you can see where to put it. It's got the little points. If you feel like it, change it up. Create your own ending. I'm going to follow the points on this one. And then our next piece is going to be this kind of fun, I don't know what you call it exactly, but I like it. And I like the glitter paper on this because it makes it stand out so nicely. And now we just have this little tiny little piece that goes on top of the center. And the nice thing about the die set, the little printout, I want to show you, is the way that it's arranged. It kind of shows you what order to layer them in. The only one that you may, well, even then you're okay. Well, yeah, this is the smallest one. So yeah, you go this way, this way, this way, and then the little one's just to the side a little bit. Nope, those ones are flipped. So just watch the middle piece and you'll be okay.
It shows it on the back too, Shan.
And it shows it on the back. Okay. So now let's just add these little kind of supporting stars, I guess. Do we like it that way? Do we like it that way? Sorry, I always have to play a little bit to decide what I like the best. Kind of liking it like that. We'll see. But let's put this together first and I'll kind of look at that for a minute if that's okay. Sometimes if I just back up and go back to it, it helps me. I don't know about you guys. All right. So we've got our sentiment all matted. Isn't that pretty? I just love that all by itself. I just think that's so pretty. So that will fit right up in there. Think about right there. Yep, I think we've got it.
Candy said you're starting Halloween projects tonight.
Ooh, fun, Candy. I definitely have a desk full of stuff to do. I'm excited to play.
Michelle says Star's very pretty.
Oh, thanks, Michelle. And super simple. I mean, really. Little ink blending. Little die cutting. Okay, so it has a little stenciling on it too, so I guess there's a little to it, but it's really all easy stuff. All right, so now we have our third card done. And we have time for our last one. This one's gonna be a 6x6. Again, we're using a pre-scored, pre-cut card base for this.
Halloween cards are a favorite to make.
Halloween cards are fun. I agree.
My favorite holiday. It's fun.
Darren loves Halloween too. I'm a sucker for Christmas. But I really like Valentine's too. I don't know. I think they're all pretty fun. Okay, let's get this guy on here. So on this, I used a piece of Raven cardstock. And I used my favorite Aqua pigments, which are the metallics. I am such a sucker for those. Our Gilded, my goodness, I have given it such a workout. But I will tell you, I used Gilded, and I used sterling, and I used brass, and I used one that is not, I'm sorry, it's not available anymore. But it's called Golden Wheat. And it was one of my favorites. So I hope you don't mind that I threw that in there. So let's kind of just put that so that the top and the sides are centered. And then I've got another piece of cardstock we'll stick at the bottom. And all I did was just use a paintbrush and just kind of flicked it on there. Super simple. But look how cool it looks on that black cardstock. I love how it just all shows up so beautifully. All right. And I'm gonna do this now so I can design around it, because I always try to do it last, and sometimes it makes it tricky. But if you've watched my lives before, you know I love my ribbon. Let's see, let's get the shiny side up.
I was wondering if you used a ribbon today.
I know, right? Wouldn't be normal live with me without it, huh? All right, let me try this a different way. I always seem...
Pretty, Jen.
Who said that?
Jerry.
Thanks, Jerry. I always have a harder time tying a bow when I'm live. It's like all of a sudden I'm all thumbs. But we'll get through it if you can be patient with me. All right, so we've got the base on there, and you know, my ribbon isn't as taut as I would like it, so I'm just going to make it taut. I am not above cheating a little bit. We'll just... In fact, let's do that so we don't have a weird bulge on our card. We will not be moving our ribbon now. Okay, so on these pieces, if you can see how ultra shiny and pretty these are, that is because I foiled these. Now, the way that I did that was I took toner sheets, which Brutus Monroe carries. We carry the Deco foil toner sheet. Okay, so this is what the toner sheets look like. They're just this, they've got this toner on them so that if you want to die cut out of the toner sheet, then you are able to just foil that. And what I did was I just, I lined up my dies on a little piece and cut that out. And then I foiled the entire sheet and then die cut after, just because I thought it was easier than trying to wrangle with all of the different loose pieces. But do what works for you. And I also used foil. So this foil is Silver Sketch, I think, or Sketch Silver, one of the two. Let's see, I'll tell you for sure. Silver Sketch. And then this other one that we used for the next layer is called Pewter Ripples. And that's what I used for the second layer. And I liked that it was a little more dull, so that, and a little darker, so that you can see some definition between the two layers. But it's all going to be a lot of sparkle. Michelle ought to like this one. And then I used Glitterstock for the next layer. Sorry, like I said, everything is sticking to me. And we got this last one. Look at how those sparkle. Isn't that pretty? Woo! I love that. So Christmas brings out the gaudy in me. I love the shine. I love the sparkle. I want it all. When I buy my ornaments for my tree, I definitely go for all the glitz and all the glam. I actually collect birds for my Christmas tree, and I love them to have feathers and beads and all that stuff. I get a new one every year if I can find one. Some years are easier than others. And I started that tradition because my grandma, I inherited a couple of ornaments from her, and they're really pretty. They have like that old-fashioned tinsel hanging from the tail and the wings. And then I just started collecting when I got those, and have been doing it ever since. I figure I also get an ornament for each of my boys each Christmas so that when they are on their own, which Daniel is now, they have ornaments for their tree. Hi, Tina. How are you?
Said, not sure if y'all are live, but I got sidetracked. I lost track of time.
Oh, Tina, you are all good. We are glad you're here. We've been playing with the Star of Wonder dies. Well, that's where that's going. So I'm not going to think about it too much because I can't move it. So we're just going to go with it. So let's put down the bases first and we'll just build on those. Let's get our foundation pieces down. I think it'll go something like that. And foil, the toner sheets are not super thick. They work just great, but they're not like super hard like cardstock. So I'm just going to glue mine right to.
The card's stunning. You can't have enough bling.
Oh, thank you. So I'm just going to glue them directly on here. If you wanted to have them popped up, I would suggest die cutting some cardstock and then gluing them to that first. All right, so of course I got a little more glue on there than I wanted, but we'll have to clean that off after. I think we'll use, I think these would look pretty with it. I think we'll use gold in the center of these instead of using the centerpiece from the die set. You do you, whatever you like. And we'll put this guy here. And our last one okay, I think that will work. So now let's just put it on our card base and we will have all of our cards done. Okay, let's just get this guy on our card base and we will have all of our cards finished for tonight. Let's see if there we go. All right, let's look at all of the cards that we made with our Star of Wonder die set. We got this one. We got this one. So those were our 2 Christmas cards. And then we got this birthday card with the little flowers. And our kind of retro hello card. And all of these are just from using dies from, well, we used 2 die sets. 3 if you want to count circles, but still. Pretty darn cool to get all of these different looks out of those little stars. Thank you so much. You like which one?
Retro.
Yeah? Darren likes this one. I think they're all pretty fun. I'm kind of loving this one though. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I really had a lot of fun and I hope that you got some new ideas of some things that you can do with this die set or other die sets. Just have to look at them sometimes a different way. And I will have something new for you next week. And I'll be here at the same time, same channel, all that, same day. Thank you so much. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.